Hi guys. So in this video we're going to be covering money management and probabilities. Before we begin, I want to start by asking you a question. And the question is, why do you trade? So I'd like you to get a pen and a piece of paper, pause the video and spend about 5 minutes thinking about your motivation for trading, okay? What are you trying to get out of trading? Once you've figured it out, come back to the video and we'll continue. So, the reasons that everybody trades are going to be different for every single person, okay? Some people want to secure their retirement funds, other people want to quit their jobs, okay? But no matter what your reason is, the one thing we all have in common is that we are all trying to make money. More importantly, we're trying to make consistent money. If your motivation for trading, okay, isn't to make consistent income, then you're best off to go and do something else, because trading takes practice, okay? It's not something that is going to happen overnight, okay? It takes dedication and it takes discipline. And most people that try to trade, okay, most people quit before they ever become successful traders. So you really have to want this, okay? But the good news is, if you do really want this, and you do put in the practice and you put in the work, well then you'll be able to generate a consistent income stream in an exceedingly profitable business, okay? There's no other business in the world where you can generate 10% a month on a consistent basis, okay? On a consistent basis. Think about what 10% a month on a consistent basis could really do for you, okay? Okay, so if our goal is to create a consistent income stream, we need to make sure that we don't go broke. Because the minute we go broke, we can't trade anymore, okay? And the minute we can't trade, well, we can't generate a consistent income stream, okay? As traders, we're going to have losing trades. There's no trader in the world who doesn't have losing trades, okay? Beginners find it hard to accept the fact that losing trades are part of the process, because naturally, to put on a trade, you have to think you're right, okay? And it takes some time to get to a point where you realize that to make money trading, you don't have to be right all the time. As you will see later, you only need to be right 40% of the time to be a profitable trader, okay? We can still be profitable traders and be wrong on 60% of the trades that we pick. So, if we can expect to have losing trades, okay, if we expect to be wrong 60% of the time, we need to make sure that any one trade we take does not have the capabilities to wipe out our account, okay? If we know we're going to be wrong 60% of the time, if 6 out of 10 trades are going to be wrong, then we need to use money management to ensure that if we have 6 losing trades in a row, we still have capital to keep going, okay? And the way that we do this is by practicing the 2% rule. So you might have heard this before, okay? This rule states that you should never ever risk more than 2% on any given trade, okay? So if you have a £2,500 account, you only risk £50 per trade. And if you have a £10,000 account, we only risk £200 per trade. Now, depending on your risk tolerance, okay, some people might risk more, okay? Some people might risk 3% on the trade, 4% on the trade, or 5% on the trade. But the more you risk, okay, then, the higher chance, the easier it is for you to go bankrupt. If you're risking 5% on a trade, okay, and you have 10 losing trades, then you've just lost half of your account, okay? While if you're only risking 2% and you lose 10 trades in a row, well, you've only lost 20%, okay? Now, some traders decide to risk less than 2%, okay? Some traders will only risk 1%, some traders will risk 0.5%, some traders will risk 0.25%, okay? If you have £100,000 account, you might not feel comfortable risking £2,000 per trade, okay? So instead, you might risk half a percent, which would be £500, okay? If you're a hedge fund and you have 10 million, well, it's going to be quite nerve-wracking to risk 2%. So you might only decide to risk 1%, or you might risk half a percent, okay? It just depends on your risk tolerance. But the sweet spot generally is 2%. 2% is a good spot, because if you have 2%, well, you lose 2%, but on any trade, if you have a 2-to-1 risk reward strategy, which I will go over later, you can make 4%, okay? You can make 4% on one trade, okay? If you go and put your money in the bank now, okay, you're going to make 4% in a year, okay? But we can make 4% on a trade. Okay, so the 2% rule is a very, very good sweet spot, and you could be exceedingly profitable only risking 2% of your account. So once we have established the amount of risk that we are comfortable with on a trade by trade basis, we can move on to position sizing and risk reward. So risk reward is pretty simple. Okay, on the minimum, we want to be getting at least what we're risking. So if we're risking £1, we want to get £1 back, because when we are getting less than we are risking, it means we need to be right more. Okay, so if we get in less than a 1-to-1, we need to be right at least 70% of the time to be profitable. And there's very, very, very few traders in the world who can be right 70% of the time, year after year after year after year. Every single trader is going to be right 70% of the time at some point in their career, okay? Every trader is going to have hot streaks where, for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, we're on fire and we're right, But it's unsustainable over the long term, okay? So on a minimum, we want to be having a 1-to-1 risk reward, because we need to be right 60% of the time, okay? Now, if we have a 2-to-1 risk reward strategy, and 2-to-1 is personally what I always stick to, we only need to be right 40% of the time, okay? If we're right 40% of the time, we're making money, okay? So there's quite a bit more room for error. There's quite a bit more, quite a greater margin for error when we're doing 2-to-1 than when we're doing 1-to-1, okay? So we also have 3-to-1, which is usually found in trends, okay? 1-to-1 trades are more common than 2-to-1 trades, and 1-to-1 trades and 2-to-1 trades are most commonly found in trading ranges, and 3-to-1 or greater are usually found in trends, okay? The reason some people choose to only trade trends is because of the multiples that you can get of your risk, okay? If you find a really good trend and you get on early, you can get 8 times your risk. You can get 10 times your risk, okay? Think about it. If you're risking 2% per trade, and you jump on a trend, and then that trend returns you 10 times your risk, well, you've just made 20%, okay? You've just made 20% on your account, which is a lot of money, okay? So some people choose to only trade trends, and the good thing about trading trends is you have a risk reward of 3-to-1 or greater. So if you're trying to catch trends and you have say you always choose to have a 5-to-1 risk reward strategy, then you only need to be right 20% of the time to make money, okay? And if you're right 40% of the time, okay, you catch 4 trends out of 10 and make a 5-to-1 risk reward strategy, well, then you've just netted yourself a lot of money, okay? A very high return. Okay, so if we look at this example, we have 3 trades, okay? All of these trades are a 2-to-1 risk reward. So we risk 15 pips, okay? This is our risk, and we gain 30 pips on this trade. So we're risking 1 and we're getting double what we are risking, okay? Here we risk 25 pips and we're gaining 50 pips. So we are gaining double what we are risking. And same here, okay? On this trade, we could have also gone for a 3-1, okay? But personally, once I have established my entry and my risk, I will just set a target. I will just set a target of my risk, okay, of double my risk. So here, this is a potential support point. So I took profits here. This ran and we could have got a 3-1. But that's how it goes. So right here, okay, we have 15 pips. Okay, so no matter what, we always want to risk the same amount on a trade. So if we have established that we're going to risk 2% of our account, okay, we always want to risk £200 on a trade. So on all three of these trades, I risked 200 there, I risked 200 there, and I risked 200 there, okay? I gained 400 here, I gained 400 here, and I gained 400 here, okay? Now, this is 15 pips, okay? So, in order to have £200, I risked £13 a pip, okay? £13 times 15 is £195, okay? So, I'm more or less risking £200 here. And then if I'm risking £13 a pip and I'm making £30 profit, that's £390 profit. So that's 15 pips at £13 a pip, totaling £195 risk, and 30 pips at £13 a pip, grossing a reward of £390. Okay, on this trade, the risk is 25 pips, so I have £8 per pip. Okay, £8 per pip times 25 pips is £200. Then 50 pips reward. Okay, 50 pips times £8 is £400. Okay, same here. So risk reward basically means we want to have either, if this was a 1-to-1, then we would have had 15 pips risk and we would have had a 15 pip take profit, okay? But this trade, because we have a range, okay, we know that if we are buying here and the market is ranging, then we can, take profits here. So on this trade, we were able to take a 2-to-1 risk reward. If we were taking a 1-to-1, it would have been about here. So a 1-to-1 would have meant that we would be risking 15 pips at £13, which is £195, and we would have been gaining £195 also. Okay, on this trade, okay, we would have been risking, if this was a 1-to-1, we would have been risking £200, and we would have been standing to gain £200. So our risk is determined by where we put our stop. Okay, as we can see here, this is our stop. Okay, our entry to our stop is how much risk we have, and our reward is determined by where we put our profit. So here's our entry, and our reward is determined by where we put our profit. So we have, okay, this amount of risk, and we either want to have exactly the same amount of reward as risk, we want to have double the amount of reward, or greater, whatever the market will give us, we want to take. So now let's look at this. Okay, what happens if we have a 2-to-1 risk reward strategy and we're risking 2% of our account? Well, if we're right 40% of the time, okay, and we risk £200 per trade and we lose 6 trades, then we have lost a total of £1,200, okay? Then, if we win 4 trades and we gain £400 per trade, we win £1,600. So over 10 trades, okay, we make £400 profit. Over 100 trades, we make £4,000 profit. We have 40 winning trades grossing £16,000 and 60 losing trades grossing £12,000. Okay, now if we write 50% of the time, okay, the same as a flip of a coin, okay? Like literally, if somebody wants to flip a coin with you, and for every one that you lose, okay, every time you lose one, and every time you win, you gain two. Well, you could do that all day long, and you could become, wealthier than anybody who has ever lived. Because if you're right 50% of the time, okay, and you lose 5 trades, and on those trades you lose £200, then 5 times 200 means you lose £1,000, okay? Then if you win 5 trades and you gain £400 per trade, then that's a total of £2,000. So over 10 trades, you have a profit of £1,000. You have 10% profit on your account, okay? That's 10,000 profit over 100 trades. 50 losing trades grossing 10,000, and 50 winning trades grossing £20,000. Okay, so you can see, just being right half the time with a 2-to-1 risk reward strategy, you could be very, very, very profitable. Okay, and if you pick your trades well, then if you know what you're doing, you could take 10 trades over a month. Okay, and £1,000 every month, that's not bad for taking 10 trades. Okay, 10 trades over a month. Now, if we're right 60% of the time, okay, that's going to be £1,600 profit over 10 trades, because we have 4 losers, okay, and 4 times 200 is 800, and then we have 6 winners where we gain £400 per trade. Okay, so we have £16,000 profit. Okay, we have £16,000 profit over 100 trades.